We gon' make it. 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 Hi everybody, my name is lgill and I am the founder and chief power specialist at Publicity, where we work with creative and nonprofit brands to help them to increase their awareness, influence, and revenue. And in case you haven't noticed, it's been a little minute since I did a video. Had a lot going on. There's definitely a lot going on right now. If you read the news, if you listen to the news, if you scroll through with your finger to see the news or whatever, watch the news, a lot has changed. Old things has passed away. Life has, as we knew it, is no longer a thing. Post this stage, we're going to be going into what some leaders have been calling a new normal, which I think is a great way to describe it. But in the midst of it all, I know there are still people, there are still brands, businesses, artists, organizations that are still doing good work and they want to share their stories. So today, I am going to share with you some tips on how you can get publicity during this pandemic. Read the room. Please, 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 please read the daggone room. There's nothing worse than sending a pitch or putting out content or just sending just simple social media posts or messages that are tone deaf, that are insensitive, and is just downright offensive. Please take a temperature check of what's going on right now. A lot of people are hurting. They are losing their family members and their loved ones, their friends. They are sick themselves. They're ill. They don't know how they're going to recover, whether from a health standpoint or economic standpoint. At the time of this recording, it's estimated that over 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment, which means we are standing at, I believe the reports were saying, over 13% as far as the unemployment rate. Please, please, please read the room. If you are going to pitch a story, please make sure that it is something useful and that people can use and it's something that's needed. Now, when I say needed, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be totally related to what's going on. But you do want to make sure, particularly during this time, that you're not sending any pitches that is not related to what reporters are not working on, because during this particular age, it might put you on the blacklist. And that's the last place you want to be. So definitely find ways where you can authentically tie your story into what's going on, and or still pitch it in a way where it's not coming off as offensive or tone deaf or anything like that. So I'm going to give you one example. So one of the organizations I work with, the Hip Hop Film Festival, they do a festival in New York City, up in Harlem. Shout out to them. Every year in August. And as a part of that organization, one of the things they don't also have is a streaming platform for, independent filmmakers and that of the like. So one of the things that they are doing on their platform right now, 24 Films TV, is showcasing some of the films that have been featured in the festival, because right now a lot of people are home, they're watching a lot of content. I have seen people say, I have watched everything on Netflix, there's nothing else I want to watch on Netflix. Okay, which we know is not technically true, but I definitely get the sentiment, because after a while you don't feel like scrolling or searching and digging through all the good stuff. Sometimes you just don't feel like watching whatever else it is, and then everybody has their different tastes, everybody has their different preferences. But the great thing about what the Hip Hop Film Festival is doing is that along with providing content that people can watch, they're also giving, independent filmmakers who may not have the opportunity to showcase their work, and maybe in other instances, they have people who are home or looking for stuff. They can go over there and watch some good stuff. So that would be one possible story that I can pitch with them as far as what's going on. So that's just one example. So definitely, please read the room before you send anything, and make sure that it's something that people can use. Which kind of leads me to my next point, which is be authentic. If you are going to do something, particularly on a community outreach side, even if it's not a community outreach side, make sure that it's something that makes sense. I'm just pulling this out as an example. When it comes to possibly presenting your newest fashion collection, depending on how you do that, it may not make sense. You have to be very thoughtful and very measured in your approach to how you promote that, you push that, and that type of thing. Because as I said, a lot of people are at home. We can't meet face to face. So you really have to think about how you can pivot in that situation. So something like that, possibly you could do something like a virtual showroom or something of that type of nature. But definitely be authentic in what you're doing. Do not just do something just so that you can get likes, clicks, retweets, views, media mentions, impressions, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure that if you are doing something, like I said, particularly on a community outreach side, that it's something that is authentic to your brand, something that you genuinely want to do to help people, because people can smell BS. They can sense it from a mile away. My next tip is to ask reporters what they need. Right now, they are definitely inundated. A lot of companies, media companies are doing layoffs. So the people that are still sticking around, their workload may be increasing depending on the needs of the outlet and the platform. So definitely ask them what they need, and kind of goes back to the first thing I was saying is point number one, be a resource. So if a reporter tells you, hey, I need somebody who can speak to how disparities between communities of color is how they are experiencing this pandemic from a health standpoint, to give more expertise on that, do that. Can you supply me with somebody that does that? That is one way that you can be a resource, that you can really help them. So ask reporters what they need, especially if you feel as if your story may or may not be a good fit at this time. Definitely take a gut check before sending it in, and then, like I said, just hit them up, ask them what they need, because the one thing you do not want to do is kind of what I was talking about in point number one. Send something that is tone deaf and off base, because right now people are a little on edge, maybe a lot on edge, and you making a miscue like that can put you on the blacklist. And the great thing about you also asking people what they need is it also continues to build rapport. It helps you to build stronger relationships with your media contacts, with your reporters, and that of the like. So the next tip I have is, as I kind of mentioned before, be a resource. So if you can provide expertise, or if what you're selling, or that something, your product or your service is something that is of value and is needed at this time, do not be afraid to pitch yourself. One of the tools that I like to use, and a lot of my colleagues like to use, is a tool called HARO. It's short for Help a Reporter Out. HARO, or Help a Reporter Out, is basically a platform where reporters can basically look for sources to add more context to their story. So let's say, for example, a health reporter was looking for somebody or a business reporter was looking for information about companies that may be providing more testing solutions so that cities and states across the country can implement mass testing, so we can look into reopening the country back up. If you provide that particular product, or if you have a particular service, that's one instance that you can pitch yourself. And what happens is, with Help a Reporter or HARO, is they will send out queries several times a day. When you go on to the website, and set up, your queries, you can set it to how many times you wanted to get it. You can set it up to get it in the morning. You can set it to get it in the afternoon. You can set it to get it in the evening. And part of the reasons why, because different reporters work at different times, have different deadlines. So something that they may go out in the morning may not be on what goes out in the evening as far as their queries. That is really up to you as far as your preferences when it comes to setting up your queries. So they have various categories that definitely fit what you're looking for, whether it's health, finance, business, economics, fashion, entertainment, whatever. There are different categories where there are journalists looking for people like you that can provide expertise and give more context to what they're doing. So go on to Caro, sign up, get your queries, and when you see something that's definitely appropriate for you, definitely do not be afraid to submit your information. And the last tip that I have is to leverage your own platforms. Right now, there is a lot of people online. They're watching a lot of lives, whether it's Facebook Live, IG Live, whether they scrolling through Twitter, Instagram. The biggest things that people have started to do is a whole bunch of TikTok dances. I've watched so many challenges. It's not even funny. That's another big platform. But yeah, don't be afraid to leverage your own platforms, whether that is your blog, your website, your social media. If you do have capacity to do video, this is definitely a good time, as a lot of people are watching a lot of video content to kind of pass the time. So if you do have capacity to do video content right now, that would definitely be a great way for you to share your story as it relates to what you're doing. And also, videos marketing tends to definitely have higher engagement rates, so it's no better time for you to start doing that. So those are all my tips I have for today. I thank you so much for joining me in on this video. If you would like to speak to me about how we can work together in order for you to create a custom plan for you to tell your story, please drop down in the description box and click the link. It also will be here on the screen for where we can kind of chat and talk about what we can do for your brand. Once again, I thank you so much for joining me for this video, and I'll check you next time. Bye.